On this episode of Carolina Classrooms, we're celebrating teachers. We'll introduce you to the 5 Teacher of the Year finalists, and we'll catch up with the current Teacher of the Year, Erin Fox. We'll also introduce you to some inspiring educators from around the state and hear some stories about your favorite teachers. At the end of the program, we'll show you the announcement of South Carolina's 2019 State Teacher of the Year. Our first Teacher of the Year finalist is Jeff Maxey, a special education resource teacher at Star Elementary School in Anderson District 3.
As a special education resource teacher, my students are in general education classrooms for most of the day, and I serve them through extra courses in reading or in math or in writing. Sometimes those are in my classroom, other times those are in their general education classroom, just to offer them supports that specifically meet the needs that they have.
My grandson, Unique Willingham, is a former student. I know he's a good teacher. I experienced that with what he did for Unique. Anytime I had any type of question, it didn't matter what it was, I could email him and I would get a response right away. And whatever the problem was, he would address it. I wrote a letter of recommendation for Mr. Maxey because he worked with Unique and I saw what he was doing for Unique and that he was a very caring teacher and he had a big heart. And I saw the servitude through him. And so I knew that he was very deserving of this award, so therefore I wrote that letter.
Special education teachers empower gifted students. And as I look at my students, I really don't see the disability or the deficit they have. I see the area of strength. I see what they're really good at. And I find ways to capitalize on what they're really good at. Because in many ways, we're all on that same spectrum. We all have things that we're better at than other things. And so when we figure out what we're really good at, that makes us excited. And that makes students excited to learn. So when I can capitalize on what they're really good at and then undergird that with instruction and with accommodations in the areas that they're still struggling with, then it makes them excited to learn again. Many of my students have struggled for years in an academic world. But then when we start working and finding out what they're really good at, I see excitement again. I see students experience success for the very first time. And they experience that joy of learning. And I want that to be contagious, not only just from me, but from their entire school experience. If I become State Teacher of the Year, I want to champion special needs students that are all over our state and champion the special needs teachers that are all over our state. And to, at the same time, bring resources and bring strategies to all teachers to help all teachers be part of helping our students to be successful. So as a special education teacher, I'm not only a resource to my students, I'm a resource to all of the teachers in my building as I bring them strategies, resources, and even awareness of the changing student population needs.
Mr. Maxey pushes into my classroom and he helps the different students as they need help with different areas. Some of the students that he works with may have trouble with their number sense, or they may have difficulty relating what is a fraction or what is a whole number. And he will get out different manipulatives and use different strategies to help them actually make those connections so that they can apply what we're doing in math class to things that actually occur in their lives. So they're making sense of their problems.
I think the way he plays games with them and makes learning fun is what helps him the most.
When I teach in this environment, I use a multi-sensory approach, which means that we touch letters and words, we move around, we act things out.
Acting, whatever word he says. And second favorite is the magnets.
Do reading and math. In reading when we do the magnet board.
Because research shows us that if we touch, if we hear, and if we do, that's a great way to lead into reading, writing, and understanding later.
We make words, we learn new sounds.
And some of our students, they love to sing or dance And so I find ways to teach reading through singing and dancing. Students are really good at doing things with their hands, making robots in STEM class. And so after they make that robot, we come back and we write about the experience that they just had. And they're excited to write about and show off what they just did and how they made that robot move across the room and pick up a piece of paper. And they forget that they're not good at writing. And they'll write a whole page about it. And then we'll talk about the things that they wrote and we'll help organize and edit. But they're excited about learning when we figure out what they like to do. Here in a rural school district, I've found that in Star, Iva, this is a community. And a small town community is often like a family. And so everybody knows everybody. And they come alongside each other to assist each other, to help each other. And that's what I found working at Star Elementary School, is that it's very much been a family approach. And so from our administration, all the way down to each classroom teacher, it's not everybody has their own job and let me do it. It's instead, we have a job, let's do this together.
He is an excellent teacher. You know, I see him work with the students daily in my class. He is willing to go the extra mile. If he sees them continuing to struggle, he is always looking for other strategies, other ways that he can help them. So it was very well deserved. I'm so happy for him.
Very exciting, very exciting. We're just honored that he got chosen to be one of the finalists.
Feel excited for him.
Excited because I love him. And he's the best resource teacher.
My favorite teacher in high school was Mr. Bill Suttles, because he actually started my career in broadcasting. I took what I thought was going to be an easy English credit for high school that turned out to be nothing of the sort. It was exciting. Mr. Suttles made it wonderful. We wrote, produced stories that had to be timed and edited for content and time to be heard, not to be read by people. We produced these, recorded them. He ended up getting us 4 hours per week on Thursday nights at the USC College of Journalism School. We recorded 30-minute radio shows. What ended up being our little toy, our radio show, ended up being broadcast as public service time on WNOK AM. One day in high school, I got a call to the principal's office and didn't know why, but found out on the phone was Mr. Frank Stish, the general manager of WNOK AM. He said to be in his office in 2 hours. I did not know why, but later found out that day I had a job as a disc jockey. As a junior in high school, that was cool. It was English. The reading, the writing, research we had to do to produce those small stories we read was exactly what fit in with the English context. He thought it was one of the exact things he wanted to do, because he had arranged interviews and tours of other radio stations and made sure we knew the names of the general managers, the top disc jockeys in town and such. And I did not know until that time that's exactly what he was grooming us for, and it worked. Oh, many times I spoke to Bill Suttles over the years and thanked him numerous times for getting my job in broadcasting. I later went on to WNOK TV for 1 year, and then South Carolina ETV, where I've been for 41 years now.
Our next Teacher of the Year finalist is Nicholas Snyder, an English teacher at Cane Bay High School in the Berkeley County School District.
One of my hopes is to bring a much more positive light to public education, especially in this state. There are a number of classrooms where there are fantastic lessons and exciting lessons, 21st century thinking that's happening, and developing these students and giving them opportunities to collaborate, communicate, and think. And so I want to be a voice for education in that way and let people know that there are some great things happening. And so my message would be purpose, passion, progress, and perseverance. I think the drive for education comes out of a purpose, a sense of something bigger than yourself. And that's also driven by passion. You have to do things that keep that passion and that desire to keep working and giving your time to these students. And then progress, one of my favorite things about the career is that you should never have a chance to really get stagnant or to be not moving forward, because there's always things changing with technology and things that are being learned, practices and strategies. So it changes from year to year, day to day. And lastly, just perseverance. You have to be able to realize that what you're doing ultimately is much more powerful than any of the negativity you face.
For anybody who's met Nick Snyder, he's a wonderful, fabulous teacher, and the fact that he was nominated here on the school level, which everybody loves him, as soon as he was nominated here on the school level and he had an opportunity to go district-wide, we were not shocked at all. We were so proud of him.
I was very happy because I nominated him for Teacher of the Year. He's just an awesome teacher. When my first year here, like every new teacher, I went through like a tough time of just trying to get used to being a teacher, having lesson plans, and Nick checked on me every single day, would give me last-minute lesson plans, would give me great advice. We became really good friends, and I just thought he really deserved to become Teacher of the Year.
I was really excited for him because he's a very good teacher, and you can tell that he really cares about his students. So I thought it was a good opportunity, and it's very well deserved.
Honestly, I really just like the fact that he can let us be ourselves and just, he lets us have jokes and have some fun, and he does all this awesome stuff with us, really.
I wasn't surprised because Mr. Snyder, I really like him as a teacher. He wants to connect with us more than usual. I like going to his class because we'll have discussions about what's going on in our lives or what's going on in the world.
He's very funny, and he likes to tell us stories about his childhood, but he always makes sure that he relates them to his English class.
I would argue that is, before you ever get to anything academically, you've got to have that component of it if you're going to be successful. And looking back at my life, that's how I felt about my teachers too. The ones that I knew were invested in me as a human being first, not just a body in the desk, are the ones that I learned the most from. So I think everything hinges upon my ability to connect with them, whether I attend events that they're a part of or conversations. I have students that come eat lunch with me sometimes. I mean, just opportunities to connect and let them see my life. One of the things I do my first day is I show them a presentation about myself, and that's not because I'm narcissistic or anything. I want them to know who I am as a man and as a father and as a husband and things like that. Make myself very real to them. Open up the lines for trust to be built. And then after that trust begins to be built, I can take them wherever I want to take them educationally, I think. So that's one of my main founding principles, I think, as an educator.
He's a really good teacher, and he really does care about his students and actually cares a lot about literature. One of my favorite things we did was actually writing a narrative. We did around the beginning of the year because we had to write about an event that was extremely important to us and explain how it affected us as who we are today. So we did that, and it helped us learn who he was because he shared some of his events, and it helped him learn more about us. So I thought that was really cool, getting a better student-teacher connection.
The Berkeley County has a teacher forum. We're one of the few districts, and we're a showcase district for our teacher forum, a voice for teachers. Nick chairs that forum, and so he's constantly going into classrooms, speaking with teachers across our district. What are some areas that need concerned or addressed? And Nick is able to meet with our school board and our district officials as a spokesperson for the forum. He's just an advocate for teachers, to retain teachers, to keep them in the classroom. Being a cheerleader for our first year teachers, hey, this is the grind, keep it going. You know, we're almost there to the finish line. But again, as I say, I can say this 100 times, Nick Snyder is meant for this job.
He's just able to talk. He always has time for everybody. He's more open to them than the actual grades. Like he knows how to teach. He knows how to be a people's person. He's not just a teacher. He's more of like an inspiration.
Shamone Fernandez is the Cherokee County School District Teacher of the Year.
We've been reading Romeo and Juliet. Our central question has been, how do our differences define us, or do our differences define us? They did a comparison and contrasting of the differences and similarities between themselves and their friends, just to see, do your differences show or necessarily indicate that you should not be together, you should not be friends, but based on the outcome of them being friends, it's obvious that their differences do not necessarily define who they are or their friendship. So that was the first part. The second part, they started with the solutions and problems that Juliet could possibly have as far as where she is right now. She's married to one man, but her parents want her to marry someone else. So what are some possible solutions that she could have in order to recreate the situation? And then they had to come up with the consequences for those actions. We move at a brisk pace. I normally use the timer. I have a cue ball, so it's very interactive where the students are doing most of the talking and I'm doing most of the facilitating in the classroom. They do the writing, they do the talking, and they stay engaged that way with us just being able to move at a brisk pace. Just amazed that I'm able to work with such wonderful teachers in this school and within the district. I've been able to collaborate with a lot of teachers and just to see how hardworking they are, intelligent they are. So to be named as District Teacher of the Year, it kind of, it was amazing to me, honestly. I do feel like I do a great job, but I know that every teacher does a great job within the district. So I just feel very honored that the teachers here would choose me first as the Teacher of the Year to represent the school, and then to move on to that point to be the district representative. I've also been able to work with other teachers from other districts within the state, and that community that we've been able to create has just been marvelous. We learn from one another, we grow with each other, we see that we have similar insecurities as one another, but we're able to progress, and we still keep a positive outlook, and we know that we keep the kids number one. So it's just been an amazing experience to be able to represent the district. It has been professional development because you actually get to see yourself in a different light. You see yourself from different lenses, things that you would never think about yourself. You kind of have to go there, and I know Erin, she kept telling us, you have to own it, you have to own it. Like I said, with the insecurities, there's owning being a Teacher of the Year. You feel like you have everyone watching you, you're under surveillance. But she said that it's not about us, it is about who we represent, and I keep that at the back of my mind, that I'm owning it because I want to do what's best for my students, and I want to ensure that they are gaining what they need to gain. So I welcome the platform and working with other teachers to help them to grow in the field as well.
The South Carolina Association of School Administrators named 5 South Carolina schools as Palmetto's finest. Here's a look.
Finest award is
I was just so glad we won, but I already knew we were going to win because we're just awesome.
I am especially proud of the faculty, staff, and the students here at Batesburg-Leesville Elementary School. This award, although we got it in 2018, they've been working hard on the vision they established for years, putting all the tenets of good instruction and student engagement in place, and today they were rewarded for their efforts, but the bigger reward is going to be what the students are getting every day.
My name is Andrew McMillan. I'm assistant principal here at Chapman High School. You know, Palmetto's Finest is such an awesome achievement for us.
In the time leading up to finding out who won Palmetto's Finest, you could feel the energy in the school. We were all really excited but really anxious at the same time to see if the judges recognized what we see every day, that Chapman is Palmetto's Finest. And then the day of the announcement, we were all in the auditorium, And as soon as they announced Chapman High School as the winner, we erupted into cheers and laughter at how excited Mr. Dawkins and Dr. McMillan and all of our other administrators and teachers were. It was really just an exciting and heartwarming feeling to be in there with all of our peers and teachers to know that Chapman had just won the finest award in South Carolina.
It was so exciting when we heard them call Chapman High School for Palmetto's finest. It was really an affirmation of what we have known here, that we have the best students, teachers, faculty, staff, parents, community, anywhere. I was so proud of all of our friends and colleagues and students, and it really was just a moment of pure joy and one of the most exciting of my professional career.
To be honest, I'm still thrilled about it. I still can remember when they announced Chapman High School. It's a great feeling. Just thinking back on that time right now, it was outstanding to know that you're Palmetto's finest high school for the 2018 school year. Now the question is, well, where do we go from here? Well, I've promised myself and the staff that we're not going to stop with Palmetto's finest. We're going to build upon it and try our best to go to the next level. Thank you.
Middle school Palmetto's finest award is Second Middle School.
It is a long journey. It is work, but it's good work and it's rewarding work. And the end result today, even just being a finalist, was an honor. But to win this award means everything to us. You heard the reaction of the students, of the teachers. Everybody was totally invested. Everybody put their best foot forward, and it just feels great.
Robert Harris is our next Teacher of the Year finalist. Mr. Harris teaches Family and Consumer Sciences at Hand Middle School in Richland County, District 1.
I try to bring that level, a balanced level of fun and energy to the class so that they're not falling asleep and so that they are not disengaged, but that they're excited, that they're glad to be here, and that they're always on their toes. So they don't know if I'm gonna call on them, they don't know if I'm coming to sit beside them, but that they're just ready. And that's what I try to instill in them. And so that when they leave my classroom, they are ready to go into life and be productive citizens. And I always tell them, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
I just got in Mr. Harris' class this year, and I heard about him. I heard he's a good teacher, and I found out he's very funny and he's good, very good teacher.
To me, he's like a friend to me. So me and him we were really cool with each other, and he's a great teacher. The best part about his class to me is the funny moments that we have, with all the classes, and that. It's really easier. He breaks it down for us if we don't understand. He breaks it down for us to make it easier.
When those children realize that you care for them, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom, it brings a different level of learning to the classroom because they understand your passion and they see that you go above and beyond to ensure that they are who they can be and that they reach their full potential. And so I attend a lot of their events outside of the building, and I think one of the main things that I look forward to is just them saying, oh my God, you really came. And so that type of thing makes me understand the importance of being involved in their lives outside of the classroom. If I'm selected Teacher of the Year, my message would be sharpening our focus with our students first. And so often we have created educational policies, and we've done things in the education field, and we've left our students out. And so as a teacher, I want to be sure that I bring back to this profession that our students matter. Our students are why we're here. Our students are the main reason we're here. So we want to make sure that we're giving our students a voice, that we're giving our students a chance to show us and to give us an idea of what matters to them, what they need to be successful in the classroom, and how we as teachers and educators and administrators can use that information to create a better experience for them at school. I wanted to become a teacher because I feel like the impact that so many teachers had on my lives growing up really mattered to me. And as I grew up in a family of educators, I always knew that this is probably what I'm supposed to be doing. And so as I played school, as I helped some of my cousins and aunts in their classrooms, I realized that this is what I like to do. This is who I am. And so as I matriculated through K through 12, I started to hone in on some of those skills and start to develop it, and got to college and was like, nope, this isn't what I want to do. And then ultimately kind of geared me back to being in the classroom. And so I majored in family consumer sciences. I had a concentration in youth development. So ultimately I wanted to still work with kids and be around kids, but it wasn't until I got my hands wet and I started really working with children that I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to make a little more of an impact on their lives and to see the greatness come out of them every day.
As a math teacher, he really makes math relevant with one of his units, well, multiple units really. He makes what I do easier because some of the kids will be like, oh, we did this with Mr. Harris, and they can kind of see how math can be used and relevant in real life.
I was excited to know he was nominated. I was more concerned about him winning, just for the simple fact that out of the candidates that were in the pool, I thought he was the most qualified for it.
I think that the Teacher of the Year should definitely be a person that can advocate and stand firm on the beliefs of what education is about and what we stand for in education, especially here in South Carolina. I believe that the Teacher of the Year is the person that will be able to best demonstrate what it is that we are seeking and what we're looking for in the education profession.
He's compassionate, but his passion for education. He is goal-driven. He sets goals for himself and for others. The first time that I met him, last summer. First of all, I was impressed that he called to meet with me as a new principal, just showing me his interest in sharing his love for the school, for teaching, and for what we could accomplish together. So working together, that collaborative spirit certainly spoke to me from day one. It's a major honor, and I think it's now an expectation. Mr. Harris is a second state finalist. We had a state winner just a couple of years ago. So now I think that we have set the standard for excellence in teaching throughout the state of South Carolina. This makes us a rock star school. So we couldn't be more proud of him, his accomplishments, the attention that he's bringing to the wonderful world of education, to teaching and learning here at Hand Middle School in Richland School District 1 and beyond. So we couldn't be more pleased.
I truly feel that it's an honor. We hold ourselves very high in regards to teaching and learning, as well as being a community school. And so we want to make sure that people in our community, that our students and our parents understand that teaching and learning is occurring every day, but we're also making sure that we are addressing the needs of all of our children, and that we're addressing their needs in the classroom and outside the classroom. And so I feel that it's an honor to work here. I work with some great individuals who are very passionate, who are very dedicated to what they do every day, and so it's a team effort. And so I don't like to be singled out, but I know that in the end that they support me and that they truly have my back because we're doing this together.
I had two very, very special teachers. My grandmother passed away when I was in the 4th grade. There was a teacher named Ms. Jones, Barbara Jones, and she was actually my teacher at the time when it happened, and she was critical in terms of my own self-esteem. I was in speech. A lot of teachers wanted to test me for special education in elementary school because I didn't speak much, and especially after my grandmother passed away. But this is a teacher who inspired me, who included me in class. When my grandmother passed away, she came to the house. She called my mom constantly. She looked out for me. You know, and that's the kind of connection and the bonds and the relationship that are so lasting that we in education try to create. It's such an important field. So it's such important work is done in these schools every day.
Zechariah Lowe teaches social studies at Maywood Middle School in Sumter School District 2. He's our next Teacher of the Year finalist.
I became a teacher because of some awesome role models that I had in high school and in college, particularly my high school band directors, just how they were dedicated to the craft, dedicated to individual student growth and learning, and just excitement and enthusiasm about the content. And that progressed into me declaring a major in music education. And I was part of the Honors College at the University of Akron up in Ohio, and went in for my Honors College interview, and the first question they asked was, who was my favorite composer from the 1400s? I have no idea, sir. I apologize. I'm going to excuse myself out now, But my second favorite love was social studies for the same reasons. I had awesome teachers throughout high school. They really nurtured me through that. But even in college, after I declared social studies major, I had people in my own family and friends saying, well, those who can't do teach, and you won't be able to afford a significant lifestyle, with the paychecks teachers have. So I considered switching to communications or possibly engineering, something where you could make a little bit more money, but ended up sitting down at with an admissions counselor and just a counselor with the College of Education, and he asked me one question, which was, what impact do you want to leave on the world? And for me, thinking it was really to make a positive impact on our students, the future world leaders of the next generations to come. So that was pretty much what set everything in stone, and been trailblazing for my kids ever since.
Great. Mr. Lowe was my teacher 2 years ago in my 8th grade year. The best part of his class was definitely the interactive projects. Like, it wasn't a class where we always sat down and did book work, but he always made sure that everyone was engaged. Ever since his social studies class, I've been excelling in all of my social studies class, and they all relate to each other.
From having him with my son, you realize that he really has a true compassion for each student, not just the class itself, but each student he has a connection with. It was never a time that I needed to talk to him and it was inconvenient for him. He's always been available to take any kind of question, concern that I had as a parent, and he also stepped in as a role model for my child. He was able to, bring out of him what I wasn't able to when I had concerns about how he was performing with his work and turning it in. Mr. Lowe just magically made it all happen.
So many teachers do such wonderful work all across all of our schools, and our school and Sumter School District and across the whole state of South Carolina. But being able to have this recognition really puts into perspective that anything is possible, really. And as long as you put your mind to it and work hard and really care for your students, care for your colleagues, anything's possible. Maintain enthusiasm, making sure that teachers really take care of themselves before we expect ourselves to nurture our children, our physical aspects, our intellectual aspects, our mental aspects, and also our social and spiritual aspects as well. But really teaching teachers how to really be enthused and in love with teaching again, even amidst all this political and social turmoil that's really affected our profession.
I think Zach is a teacher that inspires his students to do their best. He does this by finding creative ways for his students to learn. He's also very active in the community, and he will he even furthers that by doing, maybe presenting at educational programs around the state. I think what I really appreciate about Zach, I've only been teaching at Maywood for 2 years, but I think the biggest thing is that he is the 8th grade leader. And after every meeting, and he will give us things that we need to do or get back with him on, he will always end with, let me know if I can help you.
We're such a small school here in the district, and to have one of our own being recognized on the state level is really, really neat. And everyone's, definitely in support of Mr. Lowe and everything he's been able to do in his short time as a teacher and here at Maywood. So we're really excited for him.
He's a great sense of humor. I think teachers are always respected if they have great command of the content knowledge, so he has that piece. But he has a way of really forming relationships with his students. You don't have to be in his classroom long before you know that he likes them and they like him, and that's important too.
A lot of our teachers, they do take on that role to help students outside the classroom. He is an advisor to many programs that we have and many organizations, Student Council, Quiz Bowl. So the students see him inside but also outside the classroom, and it helps build relationships with the teacher. he takes on the role as, we don't have a curriculum coach, so he takes on that role, helping teachers develop, working with students, and developing the curriculum for the school. Mr. Lowe works well with all parents, all students, and faculty members, and he really does take on that role with a passion to help and educate.
He has a very unique teaching style. Every student that comes through his class, they enjoy the experience that they encountered with Mr. Lowe. He's young, he has innovative strategies that capture the attention of his students, and they thoroughly enjoy his class.
Just, I started my career here too 4 years ago, and this has been my family, this has been my home as a teacher. Seeing students go from 6th to 8th grade through just with me over the first 3 years, it's, it's really a team effort. There's that phrase that it takes a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village to raise a teacher as well. And everyone here has my back, and we're all rooting for not just Maywood, but Sumter School District as well.
David Kinga is a science lab teacher who has been recognized for his conservation efforts at St. John Newman's Catholic School.
Green Step School is a school that you basically have a lot of environmental and conservation projects that you do that actually help students learn about the environmental and conservation issues. Recycling is one of our biggest ones, where we teach students about recycling every beginning of the year. Actually wrote a curriculum, recycling curriculum, that I use for all the grades, and we try to remind them about what to recycle, where to recycle. For the younger kids, even if they don't know how to read signs, they can actually use pictures to relate to that. We have signs in the cafeteria with pictures of where to actually put whatever product they do, and just showing them that it's very important to do that. We actually got selected by the National Society of Horticulture, and they toured a lot of gardens all over the state, and we had Richland County Conservation with Miss Jen Hill and Chanda Cooper nominate our school as one of the, being a small school, by one of the upcoming conservation programs. So we had about 40 to 50 teachers all over the nation come down one summer, actually to our gardens, and get ideas of how to actually involve students, not only just in the classroom, but be able to get their hands dirty and actually learn a little bit about agriculture and growing natural foods. And we try to teach the kids also about the nutritional values of growing fresh products. We have like a pizza garden where we grow tomatoes and peppers and all that. And being a religious school, we actually have a Bible garden where we grow rosemary and all other plants that actually fit the biblical theme. So it's been a really great asset for us. We try to make this a fun place. We know students have different strengths, and this might be the only place they actually get to have fun and make their day, and I try to make sure they come in and leave with a smile and make sure this is the best thing they experience every day, and so far it's been pretty good.
At St. John Newman Catholic School, we understand that it's not just about filling students with curriculum and facts. It's about lighting a fire within them to understand that they're part of a greater community and environment at large. With the way our world is moving, it's important that we're creating 21st century learners, and that includes understanding the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and integrating that on how we can do better for our world.
It just brings a joy to my life, just knowing that I live here, knowing that I impacted kids, and it's a great school, great administration, and they're fully supportive of everything that we do with all our green projects. So it's been fantastic.
Rabbi Meir Muller, head of Cutler Jewish Day School, was named 2017 Conservation Principal of the Year by the Richland Soil and Water Conservation District. He showed us around their outdoor classroom and explained why giving kids more time to play helps them learn.
With an entire team behind me working, we were able to have a great connection between families, children, and administration and teachers to create a wooded area where the children go out if not every day, every other day, they're visiting the woods and they're learning in the woods, they're learning about the woods, and they're learning for the woods, so how to protect our environment. And they just love it. They do, I believe they grow academically, socially, emotionally, as well as physically by these trips into the woods. So that is an important part of our school. There are 3 places in the woods. There's a field that the children are growing wheat, barley, and vegetables on. They're raised boxes, and then they're field for them to play. Then there's this amphitheater where they sit on stumps if we want to hold an assembly or class. And then there is what the children call the wild place, which is just the natural woods, and they run through there. The creek runs through there, so they follow the creek. They have different sections of the woods. They often call them dens, where usually it's by gender, so the girls in 4th grade have their den, the boys have theirs, and it's sort of like a secret club. And, but they know they can't exclude anyone, so boys can visit the girls and backwards and forwards. And so other classes aren't split by gender. But it is a place for the children to learn really social emotional development and practice negotiating the resources that are out there. I believe that right now we're seeing children have less and less free play outside, whether it's because of the media opportunities that they have or the structured activities they have. They just aren't outside and playing as much. And I noted that through my 26-year career, that it seemed as I spoke to families that children just didn't go out to the parks or play on the neighborhood streets. And I wondered, how can we help with that issue here in the school? So one thing we did is extend recess. And we have found that the more recess a child has, they actually do better academically, not worse. So while we give up some instructional time, we allow children to learn social skills and even academic skills in a natural outdoor environment. So we saw that they were having less time, we wanted them to succeed, and we were able to give them this little wooded area. It's not that big, but it is enough for them to really have wonderful learning experiences, wonderful social emotional experiences, and play experience out in the woods. It adds a certain almost magic. And the children use that word. They said, this is our magical place. And I do feel that they just are very engaged in the outdoors, and it is something that they're missing in their larger lives compared to when I was a child.
Last but not least, our 5th Teacher of the Year finalist is Susan Snyder, a science teacher at Northwestern High School in York County District 3.
If I was chosen to be the State Teacher of the Year, my main message would be how important education is, and that we as teachers are the most noble profession that exists. That nobody goes on to be other things without going through at least some type of education, some type of teacher. And I really believe that we have the power to influence these kids. We wake up every morning not for the money. We wake up every morning because we have a purpose, because we know that we have students waiting for us in our classrooms, and it drives us to come to school so that hopefully we can make a difference one day in the life of a kid. When they walk in the door and see what's on the board and they're excited, it just makes your day great. Teaching science, keeping content relevant, I mean, we're talking about the human body. So who isn't interested in how their bones work, and muscle and skin, and we talk about tattoos. So it's always an open forum in my classroom. It's always, who wants to talk about something? Are there any questions? And really, I'm very open, and I think that encourages my students to be very open. And a lot of them are going to college next year. They need to know about how their body works. So they're pretty keyed in to what I'm saying. Chemistry, I think it's real important to just continue bringing in current information as far as articles read. But what's nice is teaching chemistry and biology is students don't understand the correlation between the two. And once I'm able to do that because I have the privilege to teach both of them. So I'm able to say in Bio 2, this is something that we teach, versus in chemistry, and I'm able to kind of correlate the two together, which makes it relevant for them.
I call her my professional crush. I want to be just like her. She always has a smile on her face. She never has a down day. She alludes to the fact that she doesn't always have it together, but I'm pretty sure she does. She's always smiling, always in a great mood, and that transfers to everybody around her, so everybody wants to be around her. I'm so proud of her. She's one of the hardest working people I know, and it's all directed towards taking care of other people. She does very little for herself. There are always kids in her classroom, whether they're in her class this semester or not even. There are always students coming from college to say hi to her. So you know that she's really impacting them, and for them to want to come to school every day is amazing. And and it's mostly because of her. They love the energy in her room. They love the fact that they know that she cares about them personally.
One thing I can perhaps offer is how great it is just to have her as a colleague. It would be great to be a student in her class, but as someone to work with, as I have, it is just an honor and a privilege. She is our department chair, and it's a thankless role. I've done it before, years ago, but she took that on and has just handled it superbly. She's always certain to communicate to us what we need to know. She handles all the millions of details that she gets saddled with, and she does it all with just an awesome attitude, the same attitude that I know she carries in the classroom, professionalism, but with a spirit about her.
Ms. Snyder is a phenomenal asset to Northwestern High School. When I had the opportunity to interview her for the job at Northwestern High School a few years ago, she came in with all kind of energy that I knew was going to be infectious for our kids and our students here. She is a kid magnet. She draws all kind of attention to her classes, her lessons, her activities by just the sheer energy that she has. I feel very proud because her being named finalist makes all of our teachers finalists also. Our teachers can own that because we're one family. And when she was named, I mean, everybody has the same type of respect for her and also the same kind of joy for her also because she also represents the work that they do here at Northwestern.
She makes everything really special. Like the way she teaches is phenomenal. If all my other classes I've been in the past few years aren't the same as her, she really connects with everybody. So you don't feel left out and all that stuff.
Great. Miss Snyder, she's a great teacher. She connects with you and just make sure you got the knowledge. And she just keep brainstorming, so she'll make sure you got it, and she just wants to see you successful.
She makes it personal for everybody. Some students in other classes, there's favoritism or kids get left out. She really goes to everybody in that class. It's really upbeat all the time. Everybody in there is just kind of like a family, and she's like our cool mom or crazy aunt at the same time. Anyway, it's just always a good mood in that class.
Misty Green was recognized as an honor roll teacher at Blacksburg High School in the Cherokee County School District. She says education was not her first career choice, but she believes she's found her calling.
Science can be one of the funnest subjects for high school students. Every day I try to incorporate activities and labs and inquiry assignments into the curriculum. Just today, we did an experiment to see which factors affect lung capacity. There's all types of interesting things that you can do in physical science, anatomy, medical microbiology, and medical micro. We culture bacterial samples and grow them and study them, stain them, look at them under the microscope. Lots of hands-on activities, and the kids love it. Initially, I actually just wanted to major in science. I initially did not want to become a teacher. But then I went through the PACE program, the Alternative Certification for Teachers, and I've been teaching now for 13 years, and I absolutely love it. It's like I found my calling in life. I did go and get my master's in teaching also in education and secondary science, but it just feels like my life fell into place, and it's my calling, and I love it. It's not a job. There has been a lot of bad media attention recently associated with teachers. That does seem to be off-putting to the younger generation. You really have to have a calling for teaching. Right now we do have the teacher cadet program in place, and I myself try to promote that program to all of my underclassmen and encourage them to take it. Because sometimes even students who do not think they will want to be a teacher, they take that class and they found their calling. We need more initiatives like that at the high school level, from our secretaries to our staff, to our principals, to our teachers. We have top-notch people here. I am just one of many to represent this school. And Cherokee County School District itself is very fortunate to say that our former Teacher of the Year is now the State Teacher of the Year. I mean, we're so proud of that. It reflects on everyone because we all work together to promote the wellness and the best for our children and our students.
At Blacksburg Elementary School, Monica Phillips was also recognized as an honor roll teacher.
We do a lot of hands-on project-based learning. We're always working in groups on things. We just finished World War II, and then we moved into the Cold War and the space race and social studies, and we finished reading Wayside School is Falling Down as a novel study with the students. They create PowerPoints, they do research on their computers, so that makes them active, but it also makes them accountable for their work. We also make sure that what they are learning is of interest to them. For instance, in social studies we do a lot of wars, and 5th grade loves wars, so that's always intriguing to them and keeps them involved in what we do. I was very fortunate. I had a lot of great teachers along my way. One of my most favorite teachers was my 5th grade teacher. She just made it personal. She had a personal connection with me. We got awards, and she had crocheted a Super Speller award, and I still have that Super Speller award in my file folder of accomplishments. We also, at Christmas time, we went to the nursing home and we went Christmas caroling, and she invited all the students back over to her house, and we had hot chocolate, and those were just memorable moments that I've never forgotten. And she really just touched my heart and made it special because she made me feel special. That's just one of my many experiences that I've had. I had a 2nd grade teacher who I absolutely loved, and it's strange that you remember someone from so long ago, but at the same time that shows what an impact she had on my life. I just remember we were doing multiplication facts back at the end of 2nd grade, and we had these little bottle caps, and we were moving those around, and I just thought that was the neatest thing, that we got to manipulate and move these little bottle caps and make arrays with multiplication facts. So definitely having those hands-on experiences was important. You know, it was just one of those things that really just spoke to me. I remember when I was little, I used to play school, and I would have 8 piles of books. I don't know why I had the number 8. There was nothing magical about 8, but I did have the number 8, and I would play school with my little 8 piles of students. And that same 2nd grade teacher, she read the book Miss Nelson is Missing about the teacher, and she became a substitute. And that was one of my most favorite books, and I read that over and over and over again, and my mom used to read it to me every night. She's like, "This book again?" And you know, it was about school and a teacher, and I said, you know, one of these days I'm gonna be a teacher. And she said, well, I can tell by the way you're playing school every day. And from then on, it was just a passion that spoke to me. And then once I did get into college and was doing my practicums and student teaching, I realized that that's where God had placed me in the right place.
2018 South Carolina State Teacher of the Year, Erin Fox, has some advice for the next Teacher of the Year.
The next Teacher of the Year, I would say that he or she should always maintain their positive energy, always maintain their enthusiasm and their joy. The same joy that they have in the classroom for their students every day should be the same joy that they provide the audiences and the people that they present for throughout the year. That's what they deserve as well. So they are the face of all that is wonderful about education, and I just want them to let that love shine through.
You've met all 5 finalists. Now let's find out Who will be South Carolina's next Teacher of the Year?
Our Superintendent of Education, Molly Spearman.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is such a beautiful sight, the largest crowd we've ever had to attend this event, which is the biggest night for education in South Carolina.
We're recognizing teachers as they deserve to be recognized. But for my part, again, our work will not be done until we're rolling out the proverbial red carpet for South Carolina's educators every day of the year.
South Carolina, Teacher of the Year. Wow. Jeffrey Maxey, Anderson School District 3.
Wow. What an extremely humbling experience to stand in a room with so many incredible educators and be able to stand here and represent you with this honor.
A very big thank you to all educators, teachers, parents, administrators. All have an important role in helping students do their best every day. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Have a fantastic summer.